Welcome back to the programme. An exclusive on the show, a scoop extraordinaire. Charles Bronson, the criminal, he's made a bid for release. He wants to come out of prison. He says he's had more porridge than Goldilocks. Who do we get to talk about it? His son, George Bambi, who has been all over the place as his son. Charles Bronson's son, his spokesperson, his representative, the person making programmes with him and documentaries, Charles Bronson's son. He says, Vanessa, hang on. I just want to say something. Will you let me speak? I said, of course I will. Please speak. He said, I am not Charles Bronson's son. It is a lie. It is a scam. We cooked it up together. As a journalist, I wasn't allowed to visit him in prison, not in a maximum security prison. So as his son, I was allowed to. And so I did. We've made a great deal of money out of this. I promised him I'd get him heard. I'd get him an open case for parole up before the parole board. And I did. I delivered on that. Now we've fallen out. I'm never going to see him or speak to him or communicate with him again. And yet he did give him a long message, but I said, what message would you like to send him? And he ended it with a kiss. Let's talk to the barrister, Andrew Eborn, and see what he has to say about this. Andrew, we're slightly reeling from the shock.
I'm not surprised, Vanessa. It's a joy to join you. And what a shock it is, and well done you for getting the exclusive revelation. It's very simple. Under the law, section of the Fraud Act of 2006, it's an offence to impersonate somebody for fraudulent reasons, for example, to obtain money or goods or services, and you can get a maximum penalty of up to 10 years in prison. So he could well be joining him inside.
My goodness me. So tell me about saying to the authorities of a prison, saying to the police, the Home Office, the media, interviewers, journalists and everybody else that you are Charles Bronson's son, with Charles Bronson's permission, effectively in cahoots with Charles Bronson. And he says they've made a great deal of money. There've been all sorts of exclusive. There've been all sorts of insider scoops. And he promised his dad he'd get him this hearing, and he did.
Well, his so-called dad, he's not his dad at all, as you rightly point out.
Quite.
And I think the reality is that is obtaining money or services by deception, and that is very clearly an offence under the Fraud Act. So he's exposed himself to all sorts of problems as a result of it.
Do you think he might be arrested?
I think there's every possibility when a crime is arrested and he so publicly came out on your show and confessed about it, that is obviously an issue. And I think justice not only has to be done, but has to be seen to be done. So people will need to look into it.
And what about the fact that he was able so easily to hoodwink the police and the prison authorities and the guards who are supposed to stop you at the door and the governors and everybody else with what he said was a pretty easy to obtain fake DNA test and some rubbishy old birth certificate?
I have to say, it does call into question all of those security checks. And what the joy of this as well, Vanessa, is that it's starting with somebody called Charles Bronson. And bizarrely, by a strange twist of fate, Charles Bronson was, in fact, my uncle, because he was married to my aunt, twice removed, somebody called Jill Ireland.
Jill Ireland, the beautiful actress Jill Ireland. I was just about to say, and you look just like her. You're handsome, she was beautiful. I can see the resemblance easily. Oh, my God, that's amazing. But how do I know you really are Jill Ireland's nephew? You're not just pretending.
In her book, so Jill Ireland, it's a relative, a distant relative. She's part of the Eborn clan, that's what we are. And it's in her book called Lifeline. She mentions about the Eborns being cousins and things. So not a direct first...
I'll tell you something, though. After the shock of today, anybody who says they're anyone's nephew, brother, uncle, father, I'm going to require a blood test on the spot and passports to be produced.
The sample's already in the post to you, Vanessa. It's got to be it. But it is true. Jill Ireland was my aunt, so sadly died a few years ago. I think on my father's cousin's side, a number of spots removed. So Charles Bronson was one of her husbands. She did also marry David McCullum, who was the Invisible Man, and we always used to say, but we never saw him.
I was just going to say, never seen him either. Never seen him either. I don't know whether we're being too jovial and jocund about something rather serious.
Going back to your serious point, it's very straightforward, as I said at the beginning. Under the Fraud Act of 2006, if you impersonate somebody, you get money or services as a result of it, then that is a criminal offence.
I must break at the words criminal offence because I've run out of time, but that was a fascinating interview. Thank you very much. Blimey, what a programme. I think you'll agree. I'm not blowing my own trumpet. Hell of a programme so far. Stick around. Anything could happen. I might not be the real Vanessa Feltz for all we know. 0344 499 1000. I'll see you after the 6 o'clock.